Now, Ghanaians who were teenagers before the 1980s may never forget the hunger period where most people had deep curves around the collarbone as a result of food shortages. This, popularly called the Rawlings Chain, became associated with former President Rawlings' governance. That didn't end there, as other presidents after President Rawlings have somehow had something they are remembered for after their tenure in office. In the following report, Joy News' Komladom explores how President John Mahama's interesting legacy is trumping that of Jerry John Rawlings' John Kufuor and late John Evans Atta Mills in the Upper West region.
Former Presidents Jerry John Rawlings, John Agyekum Kufuor, John Evans Atta Mills, and now John Mahama are individuals who have served Ghanaians during different periods of a country's history. Their style of leadership may have been different, but one thing is for sure: they all have something to be remembered for by the end of their tenure. Remember the Rawlings Chain? Well, in the early 1980s, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was popular for the Rawlings Chain. Many Ghanaians suffered long periods of hunger and starvation due to food shortages. The period was characterized by sunken flesh around the neck region of many people and a clear definition of a collarbone under the neck caused by leanness of the normally fleshy cover.
So it came that during that time it was difficult for even our Greek. It was all is about agri sector. Okay. We had famine, crops were not growing the way we wanted to. And at least I know that's why I came. Rawlings Chain.
So why did they call it Rawlings Chain?
Because of hunger.
Okay.
Because of hunger, nothing but hunger.
Okay.
Because if those days things, even what people what you are preparing to eat, crap, sometimes let's say something like kenke like this, it is even not done, but people will buy it like that. And go and cook it. they'll take the risk and cook it themselves. Because if they don't do it like that, they won't even get it.
In came John Agyekum Kufuor, thought to be the gentle giant. Before he left office in 2008, he had also carved a niche for himself in the area of popularity. He had the famous Kufuor gallon. This was as a result of long periods of water shortages across the country, leaving people with no choice but to trek long distances to queue for water. The most convenient containers were the yellow gallons, which the young and old alike used.
It was during the tenure of former President John Kufuor which saw water shortages hit the country. That is how come we have the name Kufuor gallon, because people queue every time for water.
The use of a Kufuor gallons have since been put to several uses and purposes in our homes and workplaces to store locally brewed alcohol and fuel, among others. Late President Mills' legacy was more of his words of constantly preaching peace and minding his own business. Yende Yepe Asumdwe and Diu Fiasem earned him the accolade Asumdwe Hene. But it is what is turning out to be President John Mahama's legacy that is creating jobs for many young people in the northern and two upper regions that is becoming popular. The Mahama Kambu. With few days for President Mahama to hand over to President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Kambu appears to be a lasting legacy the people of the Upper West region will cherish for a long time. The small shoe-like tricycle is the most popular form of transportation in this part of the country. But how did it become known as the Mahama Kambu? We find out from some owners and users of a Kambu in the Upper West regional capital.
Mahama Kambu. Why did they call it Mahama Kambu?
Because it's like that they are call him. That's the name. So if Mahama that bring where Mahama bring enter this time, so they are put us from Mahama Kambu. And the first time they are call him Moto.
But do we know how the name Mahama Kambu came about?
Yeah, it was because the president came here once and then he tried one himself. And they just used it to make it. I mean, because of that, they use it as a basis to give the name Mahama Kambu. If not, that's not the name of it. It has its own name.
The cute, sometimes yellow, green, blue, and red Mahama Kambu to many people here trumps the legacies of all the past presidents. Not only is it easing transportation and movement in the central business district of a region, but it continues to create jobs for many others, especially the youth. So, the Rawlings Chain, the Kufuor Gallon, not tangible but impressive as Sumjehene, and now the Mahama Kambu. I wonder what President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo leaves as a legacy after his tenure. Maybe one village, one dam will do the trick. Komala Adom, Joy News, WA.
And you're still watching News Today on Joy News. Stay with us, we'll be back shortly.